Hi everyone, welcome back to the Stitch Sessions. If you're new here, I'm Karen and I love all things to do with crafting with crochet. And welcome back to my regular crochet friends. In this week's tutorial, we are going to work on creating this sweet little snowman. So some of you saw my crochet Christmas tour from 2021. And I had taken you through kind of my entryway and my makeshift mantle and shown you all the kind of fun Christmas crochet items I had made, including some decorations on my tree, my little tree. Now, I had showed you this guy, this sweet little snowman I made, but I never got around to showing you the actual tutorial. So this year, here we are. So I'm going to just take you through all the materials you're going to need to create him. He's super easy. If you know single crochet stitches, you are pretty much good to go. If you've got lots of scrap yarn, this is going to be a really, really fun project for you. So without further ado, let's gather all of the materials we're going to need for this project and get started making our sweet little snowman ornament. Okay, so our snowman is created using some rings. So you're just going to need 2 rings of different sizes. So I've got like a medium and a small ring here. So one is for the body and one is for the head. And I just picked these up at the dollar store. So these are just like wooden craft rings. And I mean, it doesn't even have the label on the size, but these were the smallest. These are the medium size. And then there's a larger, actually I have it right here. And then there was really larger rings here. So I just thought that the medium and the small worked out quite well for ornaments. So you just need one each of these. Any scrap yarn that you prefer. So I had actually used this really cute sparkle yarn. I'm not sure if the sparkles come through on camera. I've just got a wee bit left. And it would probably be enough for this project, but I'm not sure. I'm also kind of leaning towards using a little bit of this leftover pink yarn, which is really cute too. So I would recommend a medium 4 weight, and on the lighter side, I wouldn't really go too thick because these rings are not that big. So definitely not a bulky yarn at all. You can even go down to a lightweight number 3 if you like. And again, scraps are just fine. And as many of you guys know, I keep a lot of extra ribbon around. So you know those pesky little ribbons that are on the inside of your blouses and your dresses when you purchase them? I always snip mine out and I keep them. And I've got quite a collection I'm collecting here precisely for situations like this. Or sometimes I even use them to wrap up small, tiny little gifts or add-ons to some of my crochet projects. So these are really, really handy to keep. So I've just got a couple here. I haven't decided whether I'm going to go again with the red or maybe use a little bit of this kind of creamy pinky color. So I've got that on hand, and really you don't need, I mean, this is quite long. This is more than enough. It's probably 12 inches I've got here to create your little bow for the snowman. And you're also going to need some little stones here. And you can certainly do this actually with small buttons as well. Like I just happen to have a lot of these craft gems left over from a project from ages ago. So I thought it would be perfect to add on to our little snowman here. So I've got some of varying size. Now I picked this up at Michael's. It came in a huge box here. I don't even know how much is in here, tons. You can find this at the dollar store. You can probably find it in a smaller quantity. Like this is way more than I might even use in a lifetime. But you just need a few for your eyes and your nose and your little belly button. I did put one on the back as well, just to cover up that little opening there. And of course, to glue these in place, I just have some tacky glue, and this dries clear, which I really, really like, and it works great on materials like fabric, and it is Alina's is the name, and I picked this up at a Walmart, I believe. And as always, you want to have a pair of scissors and a yarn needle because you're going to sew in a little bit of your ends there. And then the hook I'm going to use to crochet up our snowman is a 5mm hook, one of my favorite hooks that I use for a lot of projects. And that's also known as an H or a size 8, if you can see that there. Okay, so we've got quite a few things that we need to kind of get in order. So now we're ready to begin creating our snowman. So let's get started. Okay, so we're going to begin by taking the larger of our two rings, and then we're going to take our yarn. I decided to go ahead and use the rest of this pink yarn, so hopefully I will have enough. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our hook and our ring, and notice I'm not putting a knot on it just yet. You can if you want to. I am not going to use that method. I am actually going to insert my hook through this ring, and I'm going to pull up a loop here. Whoops. Make sure to hold on to the tail. See, so it creates a loop, and I'm going to chain one, just like that. Make sure to hang on to your loop here at the end. Just going to throw it over. And now I'm going to work a single crochet into this ring. So I'm just, again, securing the tail there so I can trap it in there. And once it's trapped in there, we're good to go. Okay, so I've got one single crochet. So I am going to do that again. So I'm going to insert my hook into the ring in order to pull up a loop. And then I'm going to single crochet. So it'll probably feel a little awkward if you've never done this before. Just take your time, go nice and slowly, and you're going to basically continue inserting your hook into the ring and creating a single crochet. See how the stitches sit on the outside? You're going to do that for a total of 16 stitches. So at the end of basically round one here, you're going to have 16 single crochets all the way around your ring. Okay, so go ahead and do that, and I'll meet up with you at the end here. Okay, so I've completed my ring here, and you can see I've got, oh, that little tail sticking out there. So you can see I've covered my ring. I've got 16 stitches. Now, if you are a tight crocheter, you might be able to fit more than 16. I wouldn't recommend it. Just watch how your work bunches, if it bunches at all. You want it to sit nice and relaxed and flush with each other, just like that. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to go into that very first stitch, and we're just going to slip stitch. The first one might be a little tight there. So I'm going to help it through. We're just going to slip stitch to close off, whoops, that round there. Okay, just like that. Now, at this point, what you want to do is you want to bring in your smaller ring. And we are now going to build up our snowman. So we're going to work around our smaller ring. You're going to be amazed at how quick this project works up. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert my hook into the small ring and pull up a loop. And I'm going to single crochet there. Just like that. Okay, and then I'm going to continue to insert into that small ring, and I'm going to keep single crocheting until I come back all the way around to the beginning. You should be able to fit 10 single crochets into your ring. So go ahead and do that, and I'll meet up with you at the end. Okay, so I've managed to fit 10 single crochets in there, and look at where I am. I'm at the very end of my yarn here. So this worked out perfectly. So now all I want to do is I need to just kind of turn my work a little bit because I want to slip stitch into that very first ring there. So I'm just going to turn it around a little bit. I am going to have to help it through. Just like that. And I'm going to slip stitch to join this round here. And then I'm just going to pull it through since it's the very end here, just like that. And then this is where I'm going to take my yarn needle and I'm just going to weave it into the back here. So it worked out very fortunate. That little scrap of yarn I had left is perfect for making a little snowman. So I'm just going to insert in through there just to bring it to the back. Just like that. Look at that. Works out perfectly. And then you'll turn it over and you just want to weave in your end there. So I'm just going to try to hide it somewhere back here so we can knot it a little bit. Just like that. And then maybe go in through the bottom there. And pull that through there. So I'm going to do that a few times just so that the head sits nice and secure with the top. Look at that. So yeah, so sometimes I might just actually snuggle it in and then continue to weave in that little tail. See, I'm just going to kind of pick up a loop there just so that it actually looks like a head sitting on a body as opposed to two loops. See, I'm going to loop it in through the front. See that? Now it's actually sitting on there, which I really like. And then all I'll do is I'll just insert back into this side. Just like that. And then down into the bottom loop as well. And pretty much your snowman body is done. Okay. Look at how sweet that is. Okay, I'm just gonna knot this up. I'm gonna weave this in a couple more times. I'm gonna knot this up, come back, and we're gonna talk about how to decorate the rest of it. Super quick, isn't it? Okay, so the next job is now to glue our stones onto here. So I was hoping that actually I could find a green stone for the nose, but in that package of blue and green I have, it seems all the blue ones are that size. So I've got a couple little green ones here for the eyes. Whoops, and there goes my face. And then I've got a couple of these larger green ones that just think pink and green together looks so cute. Now this opening, I think because this yarn was just slightly lighter than this one, see, I glued the gemstones back to back to fit in there, which is exactly what I'm going to do here. So I've got two of these gemstones that are roughly the same, and then I will basically glue them to each other to just sit nestled nicely in there. And then on the back, I'll put just a ring of glue so it'll stay in the middle there. Now, you certainly don't have to do that. You can leave your snowman with a little hole in the middle. The only thing is it just doesn't really look snowmanish to me. It looks more like just a figure eight. So I like the idea of doing that. So basically you're going to take your glue, and I like to actually just place the glue directly where I need to put it, because sometimes it gets finicky when you're placing it on the gem and then trying to place the gem where you need it. Some people might like to use some tweezers to put these into place. And if I had thought of this a little bit better ahead of time, I would have as well. But here we are. So the first eye will sit right there on top of that little spot of glue. And then I've got my next eye here, which is also a green stone, and I'm going to place her right there, right next to it. Look at that. Now our little snowman is coming to life. Is that green or blue? Oh my goodness, it's blue. Oh well. He's got one blue eye and one green eye. Perfecto. So adorable. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to take a centerpiece here for the nose. That's what I'm going to do. I found a clear one here. And I'm just going to place it right, whoops, in there. Just so that it nestles in. So of course I needed to move. Really what you should do is place the nose in first. And I knew that, but I got all excited and I started placing the eyes first. So for the nose, just going to put a bit of glue around, basically around the outer edge of this opening here, just like that. Then we're going to take our gem and we're going to place it in there just like that. There we go. You just leave it there for a few seconds to dry, and I like to use my yarn needle if I need to kind of reposition. There we go. Now it's sitting a bit more flush. And there you have it. Isn't that so cute? And so that's now what I'm going to do with these larger pieces as well. And like I said, I'm going to glue these two together, both sides, and then I will place them in the ring. But first I will line the ring with glue, kind of like I did with the nose, and insert it. And then I'm just going to set it down to dry for a few minutes. It doesn't take very long to dry, but I always like to leave things a bit longer than it necessary. See, it's still moving around there, just to make sure that it's nice and secure in place. And then once your gems are glued in, then we can add the final touch. Okay, so I have placed my gems in place. And of course, I'm being a naughty girl. I haven't waited too long for it to dry, but we just have one more touch, and that is to add the bow. Now this is actually kind of a corally pink, and I thought it would be a great accent to add to our snowman. So all you're going to do is you're just going to lay it flat and slide it underneath so that it's sitting in the middle, and just make sure it's centered. Now what you could do is you could cut this in half and use half of this. I'm just not sure that my thick fingers would work around it to create a bow. So I'm just going to use the whole thing and just make sure it's relatively centered, just like that. And then you're going to just tie a knot gently around the neck. Okay, just like that. Okay. And then you're going to just tie a bow. And however you like to tie a bow is good. So mine's a little lopsided. So that's a huge bow, obviously. And so the trick I always do is I just hold the center and then I just pull down until the size of the bow part is where I like it. And that way it still stays nice and tight. And I just pull on it. And oh, that is still pretty big. Let's make that a little smaller. Just like that. So sweet. Actually, I kind of like it on this side. Looks very fashionable. So you can leave it the ribbon a bit longer if you like. And I have been known to do that, especially when you are draping it on the tree. It just adds a little bit of extra kind of drape there. I think actually I am going to just snip it a little wee bit. Right about there. I don't want it to be too short because it's just going to stick out to the side. So this way it's got a little bit of drape. I can even maybe curly cue it with the scissors just to kind of give it a little bit of extra finesse. And there we have it. That is our snowman crochet ornament. Isn't that pretty in pink? Now you can crochet a little hanger if you like, but I find it's so delicate that I would probably either buy those actual hangers, the little wire hangers. You can get those at the dollar store, or I would use a piece of crochet thread and just make it nice and light, and you're good to go. So you don't need anything really heavy or thick. Now I tend to use this on my little mini tree, which you guys saw in the crochet tour. And so I don't even really need a hanger. I actually can just embed these into the branches of the tree and they sit just nicely. I mean, nobody's really jostling it around that much. So there you have it. Is this not easy or what? And it takes just mere minutes to create. So I hope you found it really fun and super easy. And I'm sure you will be creating tons of these. These also make for great gift toppers, actually, that you can add on top of a gift. Super sweet and very custom made for the recipient. So what I'm curious to know is, what kind of yarn are you going to use to create your snowman? And what are you going to use for your embellishments? Let me know in the comment box down below. I am always really impressed at the different ideas that you guys come up with when you're working some of my projects, and the different colors you choose and the accents you make. I just find it delightful. So make sure to do that. And if you're new here and enjoyed this tutorial, I invite you to press that subscribe button. Come hang out with us. I upload a brand new tutorial every Wednesday morning. And if you have any further questions, you know you can always leave them for me in the comment box down below. Or you can email me directly at info@crochetcrafty.com. And if you really like this project, make sure to give me a thumbs up. That way I'll know to create more projects like this for you guys. There may be a few more coming up for the holiday season. And if you haven't seen my Christmas crochet tour from 2021, and in fact from 2022, I will leave a link to those videos in the description box down below. So guys, I hope you have a wonderful day. Happy crocheting. Take good care of yourselves. And don't forget to come say hi to me. I'm on Facebook and Instagram at The Stitch Sessions. And I will see you guys in the next session. Take care and happy Christmas crocheting.